I forgot the T, sorry. Intermediate. ah. Okay. The intermediate and advanced. Now we've got to learn how to do a basic stance. We've learned how to do the basic eights, receive the basic eights, and now it comes usually the point where you do a bit of free fighting with the. First of all, valid hit. What is a kill? A kill is a valid hit on the target. A valid hit is a hit with the edge or the point of the weapon. So with a metal edge of the point, so it's not the side of the shaft or whatever. So flat blades don't usually count. If you do get hit with a flat and you're not sure, take it, talk to them later. If it's an obvious flat shot, you can't ignore them. They're not a valid hit anymore, so it's not a kill. You can react to them saying, ooh, you spanked me, whatever you want to do. Now, what we now being expected to that the basic stance has developed into a more combatant stance. You're lower down, you've got a better center of gravity, you can literally move around. So you can now move forward without having, you can actually stand a bit further away and move in without having to have any problems of this. Now, the advanced, the first one is parry-riposte, which is a bit difficult because parry-riposte, you've got to imagine there's something there. Okay, so you can do that. However, you can practice feints. So a feint now is an attack which you make the opponent believe you're putting an attack to one area, which you then switch to hit him in another area. So I'm going for a shoulder shot. When he realizes I'm going for that shoulder shot, he then suddenly blocks it, and I literally just say, fair enough, I go for this area then. Or shoulder shot, and I go down. Shoulder shot, and I go down. Sometimes it's enough to say, ugh! And they're all going, ooh, one side, and then you tap them on the other side. So if a declaration of intent that you want to hit them somewhere, then they have to believe it. Okay? So feint can be, if you do side shoulder, lower leg, shoulder side there, leg and other leg. Or if you want to go a bit more fancy, going to that one, and then go to there, that one, and there, or going that one, and there. You know, there are side, you don't want to go for that, you want to go for this one. So there are lots of different ways of doing. Or you just take your shield, and you make him pretend you're going for that area, so go for that area, and you go here. The moment he starts reacting to it, you saw the feint. The feint is not when your weapons contact another weapon. So if I do this, and that weapon contact, I've just have a failed attack. I'm not having a feint anymore. So the practice point is to do this without hitting the first one. Again, 2-times attack is very good for that one, because you're coming in, that's not possible, and you reverse. Now, one very, very good exercise for that is, as John pointed out, from your wrist, hold your arm out into the boss area and use only your wrist motions to circle the sword around the shield. You can then, if you're confident with it, go further in and further in until you really can go around, and then the other way around, go back out. Please try that at home now or in the garden. It's a very good exercise. Do it with both hands because it is very good, needed later on for shield work as well when you come to the dueling part later on in the afternoon. Okay, so very good exercise. Strengthen the wrist like mad, so you don't have to always only have one exercise to get strong wrists. Okay, that's the point. You can do the same thing with the axe and the other sword with both hands, but it does give you the dexterity you need to do the feint when you come in and start the feint. And I see you come It's all from the wrist as such. The feint, as I say, is you sometimes a tiny motion is enough to make the person believe that you're actually putting in tuck in, and that is enough to make him stiff. That is enough to make him stiffen up, and you can then go into the points. For example, you're trying to go for a nice high shot and then let it drop and come under the arm. It's a nice feint. There's another feint where you can go for that shot, and hit him on the leg. Works nice, but that could be a series of attacks as well when you do that. But that is for the dueling and the more advanced fighting later on. Again, still in the advanced fighting, at the point that we're learning tricks. We're doing bits and bobs, and we're learning a shot here, we're learning a shot there, and we have to add them to our repertoire. And we're trying to avoid blade contact because it gets locked up, and then we don't know what to do, and then the blade gets deflected somewhere they won't want to. So people tend to fight a lot of sniping. And a lot of exercises are sniping. Coming in this, that nice exercise, making him aware of this, and sniping to the other side. Coming, seeing, doing little motions out, step out, side steps, trying to get into certain areas. It's still, most of the time, they're avoiding the blade. It's good because it makes for good choke. Because if you start binding, as we learn later, then the show combat goes somewhat out the window. It becomes very tense. People can see the energy in it, but it's not as showy anymore. So these are all nice points where you can be very lethal or very lethal looking. Okay. Now we're coming to the point that it's a slight different way of holding the sword for these exercises, because the hammer grip is going to be very difficult, and even having the front solid and then the last three fingers holding it can be very difficult to do certain exercises coming around. So now I'm introducing already the pinch grip. Pinch grip. The finger and the thumb going onto, ideally just behind the crossguard or onto the crossguard, but never over the crossguard. Okay, so behind or onto the crossguard, but never over. Yeah, they're holding the sword in a nice slight way, and then those three fingers solidify, and they're now sideways. So the pommel is now pushing into the side of your palm, which then gives you a bit of motion. So if you have a longer handle, which most weapon swords have, you pinch, the pommel is now on this side here, so you can now work your way nicely with a lot more mobility, and you can do nice backhands and forward cuts, false edge and true edge cuts, in order to attack, and your attack will become more fluently. Okay, if the hand is really long, you actually have it easier for a pinch grip, because on the short handles, unless it's very short like this one, where the handle is so part of the grip, it's the longer the handle, the easier the pinch grip becomes. If you practice that from the beginning as well, it's fine, but for safety reasons, I would recommend learn that first, because that is the go-to fallback. If you do something, suddenly you realize, oh, I'm forgetting, you're back in the hammer grip, and you need to know what to do with that one. Because if you do blocks, you always move the hand outwards, so you don't get your hand completely, your wrist overextended, and then you could potentially get difficulties. Okay, so then the feint, riposte we can't really do. Block and parry. What else is there? Hang on, I need to have my book now. Right. Exercises for this. We can do some flow exercises here, which comes to dueling in advance. Now these flow exercises coming fighting systems. It's not something you want in a battle, but it's something which keeps your dexterity, your accuracy, and the rest very, very good. Right. Number one is the slash. When you stand in front of the weapon or of the shield, you take the weapon, you take her up, and you put a nice stab in on the top, and you twist the weapon, having the cut angle down and go past to go down. While you do that, you start to twist your body a bit. So you stab and you slash while you twist the body. Then you go up, do a backhand stab, turn the weapon again, and slash. Always use the true edge of the blade, because we don't do false edge cutting at the moment. This is for exercise. Stab, slash, stab, slash. It's very do a cut and not stab and then just a swivel out. Okay, so stab, slash, stab, slash. I show this in front of you now. And you go in the stance, you stab, and you slash, and then you go up, stab, and slash. So stab, nice stab, slash, stab, slash. That is a nice flow exercise. I believe it's from fighting system they call Bolognese or something. Bolognese. Yes, it is. It's Jordan can probably tell more about that. It's worth. It's an Italian longsword fighting system. Okay, so you can do that. Do it slow first until you get used to it, and then you can accelerate it a bit and just get the flow going. Okay. Do it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And you can do that. Wrong sword. With the left hand as well. If you want to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Okay. See, the last one was actually more bow than a direct cut. Yeah. So practice it slow and then slowly increase it. Okay. Once you got that, you can build that into your warm-up routine when you do. If you before you take them on the field, always do a couple of cuts, test clips to make sure you get the feel of the weapon. This one, for example, is a lot lighter in the top end than my other sword, so I tend to be too far off and stop it too early. So it's good to have the 2-time attack, because you can see how far off I've stopped and I can adjust accordingly. So always make sure that when you get a new weapon or a different weapon to change them over, do a couple of tests. Balance is very important on blades. This one, for example, is right there, very, very close to the handle, whereas my dueling blade is a lot further out if you look at that. Okay, so, and that makes a huge difference. For some reason, this one is just somewhere in the middle. Okay.
And now we're coming to different ways of hitting. Very important to know. The one of them is people do reenactment, like in the hammer grip, nice, big shot. Okay. Gives you the point, is a very direct approach, and you can feint it, but it's still quite a solid mounting. That is the most direct and controlled hit. So if you do this slow, before we go any further, do some exercise, you can warm yourself up again after sitting in front of the computer doing nothing. You can do nice and slow cutting exercises onto the shield and do slow. The main thing now is, the main point is keep it at one speed. Don't come in and snap it in place. So accelerate at the end, don't accelerate and stop it then. This time we're going to do a nice controlled cut. First in a hammer grip. Okay. Then we're going for a pinch grip. We do this. Nice and controlled all the way. You see I loosen my hand and slightly tighten as it comes down. So I've got full control when it comes to the end. Okay. The reason for this is to learn the speed of your blade, because if you always accelerate, you will have a problem to actually do slow motions, and you're losing a vital part of the control of the sword. So nice and slow cutting exercises. All right. And then you've got the elongated grip, which is pretty much you coming in, and you literally, this one's coming in nicely controlled again. You see, it's awkward for this one to actually come in for a telegraph shot, because this is not yielding, this is coming in and it cut. Okay, you twist, you cut, twist, back edge, leading edge and the trailing edge, the fourth edge, cut. You can play around with that till you realize how you want to hit it. Now that is making it nice and even blade movement. It's a good training exercise. So if you do that 10 times now around to get your arm back into it, you can do it with the right and with the left. So that's number one. Stick to the eights. It's always good to do the eights, because that way you get your body straight trained to bicycles. 1, 2. Three.
Nick would like a close-up of the pinch grip.
Pinch, hold it in between them two, and use these hands for controlling. So, these fingers. You now got a full control. That pommel sits at a 90-degree angle into your palm more, and not like elongated grip where it sits part of the handle. This is actually the stopping part. The longer the pommel, the easier is a pinch grip at the end of the day, until you get used to having the pommel actually as part of the handle, which then you have the pinch grip further down and use the pommel as an anchor, so to speak. Okay? Does that make sense?
Demonstrate with the gloves off, please.
This is, now I'm holding it in the pinch grip. I'm literally just holding it at a gentle point. If I let go, it falls out. Okay, so I'm holding that, and these fingers here now holding the blade. You see where it sits in there? I'm now using a sock on there. The other thing, I'm pinching it here, hold them three, and you see this pommel is much nicer now in the back here. Can you see it all?
Yeah, they're happy.
So now this goes behind, and there you have the pinch grip. So when you do a shot, you rest it, you rest the fingers as you fit. You're coming in with the back hand, with the front hand. You have now a lot more control with your wrist, whereas when you have this one, wrist stops it there, you pinch it, and it goes any further.
Lower. There you go.
Yeah, so wrist stops there, pinch it, you can go further, because now you're taking the weapon out. So it gives you a lot more mobility with a pinch grip. In the elongated grip, you pinch it between there, basically. Use that part to hold against the cross guard. If the handle is longer, go further back. So, the cross guard is not the main thing. The pommel is on this point the main thing. Thumb on the point. These three hold the blade again, the handle, like so. So you have an opening there, basically. And this pommel becomes part of the grip now. So that's elongated. See the difference? Pinch and elongated. Okay. We now have done very slow cutting, but we're trying to keep the blade at a constant speed. That gives us the accuracy and the control of the blade. Quite often people come in And the dangerous part is there, where people try to arrest the blade, or there, where people try to arrest the blade and then accidentally accelerate it. So if you do it, you know where your fault is. You suddenly realize, oh, well, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to hold it in place at the end. So you don't accidentally do that. Okay? Right, so that's the one thing, grips. All theory first, and then we're going to go practicals afterwards. Second point is the ways to hit. I already started off earlier. When you hold in the hammer grip, you've got this nice hit here, where you get direct. You see the distance when you hit. If they go straight there, you don't need to move. It's perfect working. That's the normal hit. You can use it around, or use it around there, but the blade length pretty much stays the same. Your reach is somewhat limited due to the angle you've got in your sword and your hand, and to the that reminds me. Get back to that in a minute. Yeah, the angle you hold the sword, so you don't have the full reach. Because if you look at this, I'm trying to get this one. But if you use a cast, you can actually go further, where you let your hand and your weapon go, and you let your weapon be drawn, or your body be drawn by the weapon. That's a cast, which we'll get into in a minute. Now, in your weapons, we've got a fighting distance, which is the maximum distance we have for contact is a 90-degree angle to your shoulder. So that is my maximum fighting distance, or my effective distance I have when I don't move forward back. Now I can choose where I want to hit somebody, but I've got to be aware that if I hit higher, my blade starts to move away from target, so my range reduces dramatically, and as I move lower, it's the same thing. Now, if you stand upright, one of the reasons for the lower stance, if you stand upright, one of the problems is you are effectively aiming for the face, because it is the closest area. So you do a big shot, the face gets hit, and nothing else. If you go lower stance, you're now coming for the effectiveness, which is towards the shoulder area, or even to the belly area, which makes a lot more sense. Now I come in, I can't get him in the face anymore, but I can get him in there. Okay, so as I go lower, the more harmless it becomes to the opponent in the dangerous areas like the face. So, one point for the lower stance is you draw the attention away from the facial area and draw it down into a much bigger, broader area where there's the body, there's the under armpits, there's the upper legs, and so on and so forth. Right? So this geometry, this half moon of reach is universal. It's always there. Be aware of it, and you can use it quite effectively to fight. That's one of the geometry things. The other one is body mechanics. You can't try to go against what your body can't do. So you can't try to move your hand completely around, because you only move one particular way. Your joints only move one particular way. So learn to utilize the way that you can get people on the weak side, or on the or bypass the strong side in order to come in and lock them down in a fight. That's something which is easier explained once you've got a sparring partner and you go slowly through exercises later on. Right. Okay, so now we can use the different heights to come in and do the 8s lower points and even lower. Now we're already reaching up, which is quite good. And lower. And then we can do a flow on it. See, main thing is when you do that, you don't bob up and down, and you don't do this. Because that could give problems when you receive it as well. You right, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay. You can do that with the right and with the left. I'm going to use the other side now. I don't want to be awkward. And you can backhand, lower edge as well. If you want to use a different grip. See, you can do back shots. Okay. Do left, right. Right, that's different grips. Geometry. Back to the hit. On the different ways of putting a shot in. Number one, I said already, it's normal reenactment shot. You can do that, which is very good for controlled shots. And then what the Danes use quite often is the, I would call it a casting shot, where you basically accelerate the pommel forward. It's like you're throwing a ball at the way. You put forward and then arrest it nearly at full arm length and let the blade follow. And then as the blade comes forward, you can then follow the blade and let it draw you if you want to get a little bit of extra reach. It's a very difficult shot to control to start off with because it comes in quite strong. So you push and it just goes straight through. So it's a lot of point to...
Someone's asking just a quick question on stance. With the not leaning back too much and not leaning forward, do you want to have your back straight from the waist up? That makes sense.
Makes sense. That's the starting point. You're coming in, you're learning the balance. You don't have to go too low at the end. Once you're used to it, you're finding a comfortable fighting stance. That's the main thing. You don't want to lean forward, you don't want to lean backwards yet. The forward leaning comes when you do a shot, but you don't lean, you actually push your ass out. That, okay? So you do a hip hinge basically, which puts your shoulders straight forward at the same time. You're still trying to stay. You never go above or in front of your front foot, and you never go behind your rear foot. So, does that make sense?
Spine straight.
Keep your spine straight as much until you come in for a shot, and then you have later on motions where your spine is completely twisted to get the extra speed on or the momentum on it. But that's different. Yes, try to not lead with your face. So as you put your spine forward, you stay as posture-like as possible. Always smile with doing, So the hinging should be happening mostly in the hip area. I know I'm always seem to be looking like I'm pushing forward, but that's because I've got a couple of vertebrae which just don't want to straighten up anymore. Too much shit in the past.